Hey everybody, welcome to Politics, Culture and Some Other Shit. I'm very excited that I'm able to interview my dear friend Stevie Scullion, aka Malojian. It's more of a chat really. I'll get to all that in the podcast, you'll hear it in a second. I just wanted to let you know that I'll be doing a live stream live on Wednesday night on YouTube at 7 o'clock, where we're going to be discussing the latest moves by the most evil woman in the world, Priti Patel, shipping immigrants off to Rwanda in what is a very dystopian twist on the latest hoary anti-immigrant policy. It's absolutely disgusting. Going to be going out live on YouTube, and then after that it will be a Patreon exclusive podcast. If you want to hear it in your podcast app, please sign up to my Patreon, where you will have access to all that stuff, all the extras, all the bonuses, all the Patreon exclusives, etc, etc. Go over there, you'll see what I mean. So go over to Politics, Culture and Some Other Shit at Patreon. I'll put the link in the thing, and don't forget, live streaming this Wednesday 7 o'clock on YouTube. Meanwhile, Malojian.
Thing I ever seen. Flashback from the 1970s. Pale blonde fender and southern hair, faded in the retro furniture. War evaporating dreams.
So, let's do this. Big introduction. Hey everybody, and thanks for joining me on Politics, Culture and Some Other Shit. I'm delighted that my friend Stevie Scullion, aka Malojian, has decided to grace me with his company. As those of you that don't know, I'm sure you all do though, who Stevie is. And Malojian is his project name for his music, and if you don't know who, or you haven't heard it, I couldn't urge you anymore to go and check it out on your Bandcamp's the best way to get to you, is it?
That's the only place now, I think.
That's the only place now, aye. Stevie, we'll talk about it actually, about you pulling your music off of Spotify and everything. So, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
It's very formal, isn't it? It's weird as fuck. How's it going?
Good, boy. Good.
Yeah?
Just
You cycle all the way down here from Antrim?
no chance. Straight down to the train station. I love getting the train, so
Yeah.
big day out.
Yeah.
I haven't been up in Lurgan in a while now, so
Aye.
we'll go and see the folks and all after this.
Yeah. How are they?
Oh, my dad's not well, but
Oh, is he? I didn't know.
something happened to me the other day, and he ended up in hospital for a couple of days, so
Oh, fuck's sake.
aye.
Is he out now?
He's in the house.
Oh, jeez, well, fingers crossed, mate.
You want to hear this? See this state he was talking about? They had no bed, and then when they got him a bed, they put the bed in the middle of NE, and he had to lie on it for 2 days, and they had no pillow in it, no blankets, no pillows in
I
it.
was talking to a wee woman just yesterday.
Mental.
Very similar. She was an old lady, 84 years of age. Well, it was her daughter I was actually talking. Oh, just one I was delivering to. Unfucking believable. Days sitting in a fucking corridor. Daisy Hill.
Scumbags by the Tory bastards.
Oh, Tory bastards. It's unfucking believable. That's what I was going. So I was out delivering yesterday, and I won't say who. I don't actually know the woman's name, but it was a young woman. I would say she was in her late 20s. You know, I got talking to her. I ended up talking to her for half an hour. She's the wife of a consultant doctor in Daisy Hill. There was this down Ross Trevor. You want to see a fucking house? My Jesus Christ. The view over Carlingford Loch, the coolies at the back, just nothing else. The Kilbrony is her garden. Literally, like, there's no fence. It's just straight into Kilbrony.
Magic.
Gorgeous. And she was lovely. So I started to talk to her, and I was asking her, well, how are you doing? What are you doing? She said, I commented on her house. How you doing? Your house, beautiful. Yeah, we've just moved here. Next thing you know, she's, my husband's a consultant, what's it like? Oh, it's terrible. She says, oh, unbelievable. The waiting list, years long, started to go through it. Next thing you know, it's Tory bastards.
She was saying?
Aye. Upper middle class, wife of I would say she's probably a doctor herself. She's got a kid, she's looking after the baby in the house. Maybe she's on maternity leave, something like that. That's the impression I got. But yesterday, it was nuts. I was talking to two of the drivers in the yard as well. And 3 people to me yesterday from all different backgrounds. One of them was English, one of them was from Cookstown, one's a middle class doctor's wife. All used the R word, revolution.
It's about time, isn't it?
What the fuck?
It's
Imagine that.
well, what's took them so long?
I know, but this is, it was just remarkable to me because, oh, here, let me just check this, man. Oh no, you're good. It's just remarkable to me because it was just those 3 different backgrounds, those 3 different people.
Well, that's what I've been saying for ages, and yourself as well. You know, it's only a matter of time before it knocks on everyone's door, unless you're one of these mega rich elite people or something, and it'll probably come to them too. Hopefully, like when the revolution really kicks in.
That's what Chris Hedges is a man I admire greatly. Anybody who listens to this podcast will know his name because I talk about him all the time. He calls them the jet set class, and he says they live in Richistan. They don't live in our world. Our planet is not. They don't experience the same things. So one of the examples that he gives, it's actually fascinating. Remember Trump? I don't know if you know, but when Trump was in office, his education was it education or trans? I think she was the education secretary. Was a woman called Betsy DeVos, who is the sister of Eric Prince, who is the CEO of Blackwater, which is a company that wants to privatise the American army and is successfully managing to do it. So basically, one of the reasons for that is sort of being considered is because if you privatise the army, you send in mercenaries. You're then no longer culpable, and you've got degrees of separation from events and culpability. So that's why when they organise coups, they don't just send in the regulars, they send in mercs.
Yeah.
Because then they've got deniability. But you didn't know anything about that. You know what I mean? So, but obviously the Blackwater will make fortunes of money. But these are princes and princesses, princelings. They've never experienced normal life as we would understand it. They've got no means of understanding. They don't get it. So when Rishi Sunak last week was talking to, 2 weeks ago, was talking to a woman on LBC, the Ian Dale show, and she's explaining that she has to sit in a blanket at night, and she's a woman making a good living, has to ride a bike for Uber Eats in the evening, and can't feed her 2 children, and he is
just doesn't get
coached to go just right. If anybody says it, just try and find a way to empathise with them.
look normal.
Yeah. So he says, "Oh, I've got 2 kids. I know exactly." You're a billionaire. You have no fucking way of understanding what this is. So back to this woman, Betsy DeVos. She gets sent to Japan. This is a true story because this was in a book. The person that wrote the book was her advisor, right? She saw a bus in the airport. There was our private jet lands, and she didn't know what it was.
A bus?
A bus. She's seen a bus and sort of went, oh, that's a quaint idea. Put everybody in.
Size that car. What the fuck?
She didn't know what a bus was.
Where's she from? America?
She's American, yeah.
What the hell?
Unfucking believable. But that's what I mean. Back to the point. That's what Chris Hedges calls the jet set class.
No, it's time. It's comes to an end, isn't it?
What are you looking for?
Somebody just threw the first stone.
No, apparently it only takes 5% of a population to do a revolution. Yeah.
Happy days.
It gets rolling. Like whenever the Cuban Revolution happened, it was like it's just conditions got so bad. But then the revolutionaries were all living in the jungle and attacking the government, but they weren't getting popular support. It took years. Yeah, it took 5-6 years, and eventually it all happened. There was a general strike, what actually caused the revolution, but it was after years.
A general strike's bound to be on the cards now, isn't it? Like,
you'd have thought so. But what are the unions doing about it? I mean, why are they not uniting?
I was talking to someone about this last week, and they were saying like that's been their plan all along, isn't it? Just to unions don't have any power anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, they don't. But I really don't know. It whenever you've got the likes of in this country being run by Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak, and you know, down south there's another hedge fund just mopped up 500 fucking houses and
Ireland is the one that really does my domain back.
Aye. It's
like, leave the Brits if they want to do that. They're the ones voting them in, you know, whatever. But how can someone call themselves an Irishman and be doing stuff like that? Like,
well, that's what James. That's Connolly's quote.
Yeah.
Connolly says something along the lines of, "I care not for the man whose heart is overflowing for love of Ireland if he can walk past people in the streets." Yeah. You know, it doesn't mean anything. You know, but that's where I. You know, my point is about politics. Obviously, I comment on it, but I would never get involved because I don't want to get involved in British politics because it's any United Ireland. Then, for me, the way I've sort of made sense of it is I can do something about it in Ireland. So, although we've got Tories in Dublin doing things that Tories do,
yeah,
I can't do anything about it. And there's Tories in London doing things that Tories do, and nothing I can do will ever. So I'm gonna fuck it. I'm not getting involved. I'll advocate for United Ireland, any United Ireland. Then I can do something about the Tories in Dublin, like fucking shoot them.
But you do, like, I mean, it's not. It's just a different type of resistance, isn't it? Like talking about it to people and.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, but I've noticed it's really fast. The change has sped up.
Well, that's what happens.
Aye.
With everything, you know, it takes a while to go and then it just accelerates.
Yeah. It's mad. That, as I said, you know, they just sold off an tranche of houses. Did you hear about that one? I read about it last year. I think I read it out in one of my podcasts. I'm not sure. There was a housing estate, 200 houses or something on the outskirts, Kilkenny or somewhere like that. And you know, people go and buy them off plan, put down a deposit and all that sort of stuff. All the people had their deposits returned, and the whole fucking estate, bar a few, was all sold to a hedge fund, to cuckoo funds.
So they've used those deposits to make the project happen, and then said we can actually make far more money here.
Yeah, yeah. And the people that wanted to buy the house will now be renting the house, most likely, and paying somebody else's fucking mortgage. That's good, isn't it?
It's disgusting, man.
I don't know how it isn't fucking. It should be first priority for any government down there. Here, let's talk about music.
Yep.
If you want to.
Yeah, anything.
So, tour.
Going on tour next week, boy.
Brilliant.
Yep, can't wait.
With a J man.
Yep, J Dog.
J Dog. Jason Little of Grandaddy.
Yeah.
And what's the album he's playing? Is that the idea?
Well, I think he's doing stuff from all over his catalogue, but they're doing the Software Slump in its entirety. And it's with, it's called the Lost Machine Orchestra, but I don't think it's a full orchestra. It's like, I don't know, I think there's about 15 of them or something.
Really?
But I think he did a thing one time for Elliott Smith in France,
yeah,
with an orchestra. And I think it's that team of musicians. So
right. So he was able to sort of get them.
I'm not sure where it came about, but he came to me about 6 months ago and said they were looking for a no hassle solo support.
Yeah.
And I'd already toured with him, and he said he wanted it to be me. So
yeah,
I haven't tried not to think about it too much because I was waiting on it being cancelled because of COVID and all that. So fingers crossed, we're nearly there now. Like,
yeah,
flying out on Monday, and then the first gig
to France.
Aye,
I've got it here. Do you want me to read it out?
Aye, go for it.
So Nantes, April 19th, in Stereolux, Paris, Le Trianon
or something.
Trianon, 21 April Lille, 22 April Amsterdam Party. So I've played there.
Have you?
fucking great room.
I've been to it, but I haven't played it. By
Aye, we played it. We played not in the big room. Now you be playing in the big room, so we were upstairs. But we when we played it, there was a band playing in the big room. They were fucking terrible, and everybody came up to see us. We ended up with hundreds of new fans and sold a fortune of merch. 24 Antwerp de Roma, 25 Bexhill. Where's that?
It's beside Hastings down near Brighton.
Oh, in England.
It
Oh,
sounds
right.
like it's in France still or somewhere, doesn't it?
Well, it says De La War Pavilion.
Aye.
I thought it was in fucking Holland.
It's right on the coast.
All
like,
right,
so-
Bexhill, I've heard of it, yeah. The London 26, the Palladium.
I know. I think this might be I have to check, but I was talking to someone last week about this too. I think it's the first time I'll have played the same stage as the Beatles.
Stevie boy.
I think.
The London Palladium.
Mental.
That's fucking nuts. Is that the one? No, that's not the Royal Variety performance, is it? Where he said shake your jewellery?
No, that's what I was talking to the fella about.
Ah.
And then he came back to me and told it wasn't that.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that one was, but they played this in 1963, I think, the Palladium.
Wow.
Can't wait. Full trunks boy for that one.
Manchester, Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
And Glasgow, the Royal Concert Hall. Fucking class venues, mate.
Oh, they're all style venues, like.
Brilliant. And the Lost Machine Orchestra. Brilliant.
So he's doing the Software Slump in its entirety, and then, like, I love all this stuff, but the Software Slump has a real special place for me. Like,
Really?
just that was the first time I heard Grandaddy. It stopped me in my tracks, and everything I heard, I did a wee bit of exploring, but not really. And I
Yeah.
loved everything, but it sort of takes me a while. Why things have to just sort of seep in slowly.
Yeah.
And then my mate lent me the Software Slump, and I listened to it every single night for at least a year.
Oh, I love it when an album gets you like that.
I just headphones on, used to do
Yeah.
a bong, and it's
Yeah.
too cold to go to bed by without. Just put the bong on, put on. It starts off real sort of lo-fi, and then it kicks in.
Yeah.
And that's his secret, I think, that people don't really get. He has this image of being. He was about to turn pro skater, and then he got an injury and all, and then he.
What,
Granddaddy started getting-
skateboarder?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's got this real cool image and all, and his music's like indie, lo-fi, people
Yeah.
call it. But he's not. He's obsessed with, what do you call your man? Jeff Lynne
Jeff Lynne?
from ELO.
Aye.
He says when he was young, his mum and dad split up, and his dad, I don't know if he remarried or his new stepmom or whatever, worked in a radio station, and it closed, and as part of her payoff, they give her fucking thousands of records, and he's real into art. So when he's a wee lad, he just sat with headphones on, listened to all these like 70s hi-fi records.
Wow.
And he became obsessed with Jeff Lynne. Also, like, I'm not sure what the kick-in point is, but that album starts off real sort of lo-fi, and then it kicks in. And see when the hi-fi-ness of it kicks in,
Yeah.
I just used to feel warm in bed. No, like Train Spotting where he sinks into the floor.
Yeah.
It's just like out there, and then I fall asleep every night. By.
Fucking class.
So I can't wait to see it with an orchestra now.
Brilliant. Wow. That's fantastic. And how do you meet him? How do you hook up with him?
Just contacted him online, man, and sent him. I said to him, look,
Because he produced one of your records, right?
yeah, the last record, Hum.
Yeah.
So I just said to him, look, I'm working on a new record. I really love your music. Explained what his music meant to me, and said if you fancy hearing some demos. And he says, before he replied to me then, he went on YouTube, and he says he went down a Malojian wormhole or something.
Yeah.
But the first thing was the Albini film that Colin made, Colin Laverty.
Yeah.
So that was the same with, do you know Joey Warrenker, who plays drums on The Last Couple?
Yeah.
That's what he says as well. He went on YouTube to check stuff out, and the first thing was the Albinis. Everybody wants, it doesn't matter what level you're at, Albinis, like,
Yeah.
everybody wants to work with them and all that there, so I'm just lucky, man. It
Yeah.
seems to
Oh,
just
well,
all...
it's luck and obviously very good as well. You're attracting. If you find that though, you the better you are and the more talented you are, the more serious you are about your stuff, you attract people to you.
A bit of luck, yeah.
But well, there's a lot of luck involved too, I suppose. Yeah. So 3 weeks? Are you? It's not 3 weeks.
No, it's
is
only
it?
2 weeks, but
It's 2 weeks. I said 3 weeks.
it's
aye.
like 9 or 10 dates or something.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to it? Are you going to be with the family then?
That's the only thing.
It's difficult.
I was almost cancelling it because I have no real big ambition anymore with that, man.
Yeah.
Even like the Palladium and all that there.
It's weird how you get like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd rather hang out with the kids
Yeah.
and having a good, nice experience for the kids and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I told myself ages ago that I wasn't going to do it again. And then probably just with COVID and stuff like that, I said, you know, I might never get another chance. I'll just go and do it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully it'll go well. Like,
Hopefully. Yeah, oh, it'll go well, no doubt. So it's just you and your own, not bringing anybody with you?
no, that's what they asked for.
Yeah.
Boys are devastated. Some of them are coming to the gigs and all, and I think they're waiting on me saying, "Here, bring your stuff." But that's what he asked for up front. Like, he was like,
no. Well, imagine it's sort, as you said, it's a no hassle support.
especially with an orchestra, you don't want
That's
anybody.
exactly what I was going to say.
Trying to explain to people like the hassle that can be if
Yeah.
a band shows up to do supporting your move and stuff, and
getting set up.
and
You
taking
just
down.
You just walk out on stage, plug in, and away you go.
They don't even take up any space. You know what I mean?
No, you don't need to move shit. That's exactly what it is, mate.
And he knows the crack because we did that last tour, and he knows there'll not be any hassle or anything. So
Yeah,
it should be good. He's good crack, like he's sound.
yeah. Class. Fucking delighted for you, man.
Cheers, bye.
And what about new music then?
I've tons of new music, boy, but again, I've no real ambition to put it out. I'm just letting it build up.
Yeah,
Working on maybe like 4 projects on the go of a new album. Needs mixed, like final mixes and all that there, but it's there. I have an instrumental album on the go with Andy Murray and Chris McCorry.
class.
I've started doing like a trad album, wrote all these tunes on the guitar, just like me playing the guitar.
Yeah.
Never really embraced that really until now. Like I love playing the guitar and all. And when I was younger, do you ever hear of a guy called Roy Harper?
Yeah.
Remember hearing a song called One Man Rock and Roll Band in my dad's van. Just as I was in bands when I was young and playing lead guitar and all that there, and I had just started getting into the acoustic. And next thing I heard that, it was Dadgad. And you hear just the fullness of the sound and all. It's like, so I used to play that when I was younger, and different tunes like Open C and Open G and all that there, but not really on record. And I took a notion just and started enjoying playing the guitar just for myself.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you've like 12 tracks that sound cool. So just enjoying myself really.
Good.
With no pressure for anything really.
Class.
Well, I'm trying.
But are you going? I mean, you're going to release it on Style It, right? Or
I don't know, boy.
no?
Release it for what, like?
Still let people fucking hear it, man.
Well, that's what the only thing is snagging me, because I have really lovely fans. That's the big thing about the lockdowns that I missed by. It wasn't even playing gigs; it was missing meeting people at gigs.
Aye, your gigs are very intimate, though. They're very.
Pushing and pulling every day, struggling all through the night, needing and wanting dedicate, troubling my mind when I might, loneliness, heartache, secrets to know. Lost in the darkness, leave me hanging on the
And people hang around and
Yeah.
talk to you. You make friends.
Your American bar gigs, it's when I supported you on 2 of those, as you well know, just letting people out there know.
It wasn't supporting. It was special guests.
Special guests, yeah, let's call it that. But yeah, that was a real treat for me.
They're lovely gigs. Like
It's just that intimacy where you can literally, you can hear a pin drop, which gives you as a performer the permission almost to go small.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you don't get. Is, you know, like I play in the Bonneville's.
Yeah.
It's about the opposite of that. It's about big. It's about going big and loud and brash and rah, rah.
Yeah.
Going the opposite direction is a thing as well that you very rarely get to do.
Yeah.
You know, it only takes one person to fucking start sneezing and it's all over.
Yeah.
But they don't. They sit there.
There's an intensity and all to it.
And there's an intensity to it.
It's cool.
And I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite. I mean, you can ask Jeannie and the girls even. One of our best days out was the first time I played with you up there.
Was that a stand ovation for donkeys after you come off stage?
That's just right. And then, you know, you give me some money in my hand, and then we go and get some food, and we go to the Maddens and we drink a load of pints, and then we get the last train home.
Yeah, it's
the
nice.
best fucking day out ever.
Nice place, sing for your supper. That's what the way it should be, isn't it?
Fucking class. And what about live gigs at home then in Ireland? What's the story there? You're busy enough, like?
No. I haven't been looking for anything. I've been working on this forest thing still.
Aye.
So
tell us about that. What's the initial idea first? Because people don't know, obviously.
Well, I used to work as an architect before I packed that in and sort of went full time into music. And so I'm always sort of daydreaming about wee schemes. Like if I see a stone building in a field, I'm imagining what it could be. And that's just like a wee something that I do all the time. And I'd never really wanted to push it anywhere other than for my own amusement. But I started working with that guy Christopher Call and just sort of looking at my own situation and going, like, you know better than anybody how hard it is, you know. How do you raise a family and be a musician nowadays? It's mad.
Yeah.
But with a simple wee tweak, I think, well, it's not that simple. It's took me this long and still not going, but in my mind, it's like a simple tweak.
Yeah.
And come back to the James Connolly thing and all, you know, this is our country.
Yeah.
We should be allowed to use the land.
Oh, fucking hell, you've hit me now.
But you're not allowed to.
Fucking right to Rome and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The English have it, we don't have it.
Yeah. And they still have all them big estates that they come over here and took.
Yeah.
The most beautiful parts of this country, all the big wide rivers and all, and
yeah.
all the old trees and all.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
Yeah.
But my job would have been doing loads of planning applications for farmers mostly. And there's all these different rules if you're a farmer. Everything gets fast-tracked because it has an economic incentive. You can put up these big, massive buildings, the state of the countryside.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But yet, I can't go and buy a field and build something on it. So that's called agricultural land.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's so easy that if the planners would just tweak things a little bit, you could drive the economy in a different way. It would help so many people. But it's just not forthcoming, so I've been trying to just navigate some sort of way through it.
But people are so fucking resistant to change.
Yeah, well, I think it's more than that. It's like, it's designed to keep us down, like, you know what I mean? And if you want to go into, like, gerrymandering and all, you know,
Yeah.
I know the Industrial Revolution, they took us all out of our communities in the countryside, put us into the towns, and now, as far as they are concerned, they don't want you to go back, you know?
Aye. But so turn that down. But that's the thing, the people don't realise. The Industrial Revolution, people were pulled off the land in order to provide the muscle to build the
cheap labour, and then after a while they realised, here, it's even cheaper in India. You can fire cannons at them if they don't do what they're told. Did you ever hear about Winston Churchill doing that?
Well, I heard a lot of things about him. He's a prick.
He was voted the greatest Briton of all time and all.
Unbelievable. Sure, it was him that fucking sent the black and tans here.
Mad.
Who then turned into the UDR, for fuck's sake.
It's mad. But
who were worse than the black and tans.
Well, in India, whatever their religion teaches them is
Hinduism.
you need to be buried intact, or with your your eyes and all this here crack or whatever. So people that he was sending to firing squads, he was actually shooting them with cannons, blowing them to smithereens, and they couldn't be buried intact. That's the type of
wanton cruelty.
the type of guy you're
See,
dealing with here.
that's the thing. That's the thing that people don't understand about the nature, the very nature of empire. There's a letter in the British Museum, and I think it's from some fucking. First of all, the first people that went out to India. So Vasco da Gama comes. Where is he going? So Vasco da Gama, he sails around Africa and finds a route to India, and he turns up at India. And these are trade missions. That's what these are: exploration and trade missions. So there's an overland route to India. They say same as China. The Silk Road is a Chinese one. They decide if we can do this by sea, we can speed the process up. And we don't need to go through people's territories. We don't have to encounter warlords, bribe people, etc., etc.
Steal the trees from Ireland to build the boats.
Steal the trees from Ireland, fucking right, to build the boats. And so Vasco da Gama turns up in India with a dead dog and a barrel of fucking butter. Say, could you trade? You want to trade? And they're looking at him going,
Trade what?
Trade where India has got
Thousands of years of culture.
Culture, Chinese the same,
Yep.
North Africa the same, the Middle East the same. The idea of Western civilization is an offence. It's an offensive word. It's an offensive thought. They say, we don't want your fucking shit. We got silks. We've got advanced medicines. We've got we're a feudal society. The whole world was. Parts of it were slave societies, but basically they were far more advanced than us.
Yeah.
So then we said, well, okay, well, what are we? So we end up, they send out the British send out, this is later on, they send out the East India Company. The East India Company go out and start opening up these trade routes. But a part of what they do is they start sowing the seeds in those societies, in those communities. So, like, take it, it's a county or whatever, and it's run by a lord. Yeah. As it was in those times. And they start sowing the seeds. But one of the things that they do is they create an arms race. So they'll see where there's a division between two chieftains or two clan leaders or two lords.
Arm one of them.
And they'll arm one of them. And that creates...
That's still what they're doing.
Of course, it's exactly what they're fucking doing. So, but the reason that they're still doing it is because it fucking works. But there's a letter in the British Museum, some colonel or other or whatever. So this is a private company. They go out, and with them they bring missionaries, Christian missionaries, and then the army. And the army are obviously the official representatives of the state. And this letter says, we will never dominate these people. Their culture is superior to ours in every way. Every way. Right? Yeah. So that letter goes back to England, back to whatever, and they formulate where we're going to dominate these people is to remove them from their culture, separate them from their culture. And within 30 or 40 years, these people are carrying fucking English people around on their backs.
It's mad. I was reading a book, is it The Veins of Latin America or something it's called? Do you know Jerry Love from Teenage Fan Club?
Yeah.
He was the bass player in Teenage Fan Club. I love him as well, one of my favourite songwriters. He told me about this book, and that's what it says. When the missionaries arrived, we had the land and they had the Bible, and within so many years, we had the Bible and they had the land.
Yeah, but that's the for me that's the trident is capitalism, Christianity, and colonialism. Those three,
yeah,
and the big part of it, they separate you from your culture. Because look, Christianity did it. They turned all our pagan gods and all into Christian saints, etc. And they separate you from your culture. And then within a space of a few generations, all it is like, well, what are you if you're not your culture?
Yeah.
Again, quote Winston Churchill, not a man I'm a fan of, but I do. He stop clocks right twice a day. But during the war, World War II, his ministers come to him with budget cuts, saying, "Listen, we're going to have to." And he said, "Arts," and he said, "Well, what are we fighting for then?"
Yeah,
and he's right. He was fucking right. Because that is, it's arts and culture, and that's what you're about. That's who you are. And if you're removed from that, what are you fighting for? You're not going to fight.
Yeah. What's happened now then? Because they don't even respect that anymore, like, do you know?
Not even. No.
It's just a race to get off the planet now or something, isn't it?
Did you see that Don't Look Up?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I saw a wee girl on the TV yesterday with that fucking moron. What do you call it? Richard and Judy?
Laughing at him. Laughing at her.
And they were all piling on and all about. Bunch
of bastards. Seen that? I'll get that clip and edit it in to this interview.
No, don't. He's a scumbag.
That's okay. Taking a piss out of him.
We've spoken on this show multiple times before about the climate crisis, how it's an existential threat to our planet. I'm at the point where I wonder. And we've spoken about how our government leaders and, yes, the media aren't treating this existential crisis with the urgency it requires. In fact, there was an entire Oscar-nominated movie this year satirising this, Don't Look Up. But the movie became eerily similar to real life just this week when a climate activist appeared on the UK morning show Good Morning Britain. So we put real life and the movie side by side for all to see.
Many people would agree that we have to wean ourselves off oil, but at the same time, they deeply resent having their personal lives massively interrupted.
How big is this thing? Could it, destroy someone's house? Is that possible?
I don't think any of us want to be disrupting people's lives, but I think given the science and the things that academics are saying about what oil is causing around the world, and in this country too, this is the level of action that needs to be taken.
It's somewhere between 6 and 9 kilometers across, so it's big. It would damage the entire planet, not just a house.
I wonder if any of you have read the latest IPCC reports that have come out this year. Yeah. What they have said is that we are on the road for climate catastrophe.
Well, as it's damaging, will it hit this one house in particular that's right on the coast of New Jersey? It's my ex-wife's house. I needed to be hit.
And the clothes that you're wearing, to some extent, owe their existence to oil because they were taken in a car or a truck or a van to a shop,
I'm sorry, are we not being clear?
We're talking about crop failure by 2030. We're talking about people in this country right now in fuel poverty because of the prices of oil. And you're talking about the clothes that I'm wearing.
No.
We're trying to tell you that the entire planet is about to be destroyed.
Well, and for those who are planning to get away over the Easter holidays, could they expect more disruption, do you think?
There's something we do around here, we just keep the bad news light.
I don't watch TV or anything, but it come on my phone.
It did go viral.
You can't escape it.
It went viral, all right. That Don't Look Up. I thought it was the takeaway from it for me was whenever they decided to not blow up the meteorite. Spoiler, if you haven't seen it, you want to, you should turn this bit off. They decided to not blow up the meteorite. And the Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk morph character, he was sort of an amalgam of Bill Gates and all of the three of them. And all. He comes in and he says, no, because if we can get the minerals on this, we could solve world hunger. And everyone applauds him. And they think, we can solve world hunger now. We choose not to.
Yeah.
These are choices.
That's your mom. Whenever your mom went up into space, I remember thinking, do you know how when you get, I don't know how you feel, but it was always a big, big dream of mine to have your record on vinyl or something.
Yeah.
And then you get it, you're like, it's cool, but it's not fulfilling. It's not the same as when you write a song, the feeling that you get when you get that energy from an idea coming into your head, you know what I mean? It's a totally different thing. And I remember thinking, I hope when he gets up, just know the bit where you can just see the earth. I hope he gets that same feeling.
Yeah.
It's just fucking emptiness. It's just like vinyl's plastic.
Yeah.
What is it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's class. That's a good way of putting it. With of it like that. Nice one. It is weird that too, it is unfulfilling when you finally get your record out. The process, it's like whenever you write a song, you're obsessed with that fucking song.
You're buzzed, you know what I mean? And
I can't sleep at night. I go to bed with it rattling.
There's something weird happening, there's like the cosmos at work or whatever, and there's energy and all going into this. And then you think there's going to be this fulfilling moment that you get this record in your hands, and it's like,
next.
Now I have to sell them.
I have to sell them, yeah. That's it. Whenever I get a song finished, honest to fuck, it's like, right,
It's gone,
get out of my way. Next,
Yeah.
there's some other riff that comes
But
in.
isn't it mad that it happens again and again and again?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of what we do. That's what I love about it. Like, I think that's where I'm sort of a wee bit stumped about. That's enough for me. You know, I don't need to go and Top of the Pops and do all this shit.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really work. I come back to trying to raise a family on being an artist. Like the thing down south that they're doing, I think is brilliant with this pilot scheme.
Oh, you told me about this?
Yeah, they brought it in. I think it's coming in shortly. You should apply for it because in the Good Friday Agreement, it allows that we're Irish as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're paying £335 a week, like a
UBI.
Yeah.
Really? To artists?
Yeah.
Get the fuck.
Artists and arts workers, and that's just your like sort of basic income.
Fuck, that would do me rightly, boy.
And any money you make from your art above that is yours.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
We there's no two ways about it.
But you know what I mean? If you had that coming in, you wouldn't be. Not that everybody, you know, and it's class gigging and meeting people and all, but you wouldn't have to be sleeping on people's floors around Europe and playing. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't be chasing this fucking stupid thing. For some people,
would you be able to make art?
The creation of art would be enough. It would be enough for me, like.
Yeah.
That's what I've been chasing with this forest thing. It's like a slower life.
Yeah.
But you sort of set your property and your studio all up in such a way that it sort of generates a bit of an income.
Yeah.
Like, I think people like being around artists and stuff like that. And if, you know, imagine this studio was a wee bit bigger and it was set in a forest and you could have an audience.
Yeah.
People love it. They love coming, being a part of something and all. That would be enough to give you and your family an income to survive.
And the thing about an income for an artist and their family, people would be fucking amazed how little that is.
Yeah.
We live on air, like.
Yep.
You know, literally, people don't get it. I have a wife that is a world class, like Olympic gold medal winning budgeter, and only for her I'd be fucking.
Yeah.
I'd starve to fucking death. But it doesn't take a lot.
No. And I'm the same, like, you know, without Julianne now, I'd be snookered.
Mm.
But, you know, I've been saying this for ages. People don't realise what way the music industry works, and their favourite DIY indie artist or whatever, you don't realise what's going on behind the scenes there. But it's going to come to everybody's door. Doesn't matter what your job is, at some point this whole fucking system is going to fall down and everybody's going to feel that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the revolution seems to be accelerating, as you're saying, you know.
People are sensing it. I genuinely, I was taken aback a little yesterday when I was out on my rounds, and I was, you know, that's weird because you don't hear that.
Not from rich people, like.
No, and you know, she turns out she's a fucking full red lefty. You know, she was everything. She, without saying I'm a socialist, she was saying I'm a socialist, and she knew you was. You know, we were. I mean, I'm driving. You know,
yeah.
But all the policies that she was advocating for was just pure leftism.
That's why don't they say musicians and artists are the most dangerous members of society?
Yeah,
because you're mixing with everybody and maybe spreading these fucking weird notions.
Yeah. And you get into, and then also by nature of the fact that you're, you know, musicians are supposed to be troubadours. Troubadours move.
Yeah.
They travel. They wander. You know, we know we're talking about something different, and that's how you get to meet with all different levels of society, different parts of the world, and different,
you
know. And obviously, to an establishment, that is going to be a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
That's a cool thing about it, that you don't really realise until you're a few years in. It's mad, the people that you meet, isn't it?
Yeah. It's class, though.
Yeah.
It is class. I do think, you know, it's kind of weird, you know, when you start out, you know, you're full of energy and full of ideas, but you don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
You don't know how do I get a record out, how do I record, how do I do a tour, how do I, you know, but you figure it out.
Would you, if you could go back and you know how hard it is and what it takes, would you do it? Or would you do it different?
Oh, I would do. Well, I might do things differently for sure. But I mean, I would try and eliminate the many mistakes that I made, but without a doubt, I would do it again. I often sort of think about me as a wee boy, you know, as a 12-year-old, and I sort of imagine him talking to me, looking at me,
Yeah.
and he goes, "We're doing what?
What have you got us into here?"
Really? No, because that's what he always wanted to do, that kid.
Yeah, yeah.
Really? We did it?
Yeah, well, I'm the same. Like,
No.
like that thing about maybe playing on the same stage as the Beatles and all. It's mental.
Yeah. Nuts. Nuts.
Do you know?
Nuts. It's fucking class. Here, just reminded me because I'm going to do this while it's in my head. So a couple of questions for you. So I did put this out on Twitter, obviously, but only just. I'm so busy with the podcast. It's class.
Style boy.
Okay, let me get it. Where the fuck's the question? Where's the question?
We 4-tracker boy.
Oh, aye, we could set 4-track, yeah.
Style. Where'd you get that?
Andy Tollman lent me that, but he hasn't come back for it. But
Where'd he get it?
I have no idea. He stole it off you, did he?
I don't think he stole it off me, but I had one and it went missing.
Ooh.
It was in Mikey's studio. I'll have to ask Andy.
Aye.
Cut that out.
No. Right. So we are Ariel sent a question.
Style?
Yeah. Can you ask him if he can bend notes on his harmonica yet, and can he have your hat?
I still don't know if I can. People tell me I can bend notes on it, but to me it doesn't sound good enough yet. I love Neil Young's harmonica playing.
Yeah.
And he's like, so to me it's just all sucking and blowing. It doesn't feel like I can do it, but I think I can. Jimmy Young tells me I can.
You're going to sucking and blowing. You'd be a good prostitute. And can you have your hat?
Which one?
That's probably the one on the record cover. That's your most famous one, I
Was
think.
I playing it on Hum?
Aye.
Am I wearing a hat in that? Yeah. I'm not. I'm wearing goggles in that one.
Oh, aye, that's right. Aye, that's right.
I'm
What am I
wearing
thinking
one
of? What am I thinking of?
on the back of Weirdness. I'm wearing a hat, I think.
Aye. There's definitely one of them. Right. Andy Murray.
Yeah.
Murray Magic Tones. The house is burning down. Which would he grab as he ran out the door? His Neil Young or his Beatles LP?
Ooh. I'd probably have to grab. I don't have really. Well, hold on here. Fuck. That's tight. The very first record. The very first.
Andy, you know this boy well because he's genuinely fucking flummoxed.
Do you know what? If I'm being honest, I wouldn't even go near the records. Do you know?
Right.
They don't really.
So he's not going to answer your question, the card.
Like the physical thing doesn't really.
No.
Do you know?
It's all you can buy it again.
Aye.
But it's a metaphor. Who's your favourite? He said.
The Beatles. Has to be.
Yeah.
But love Neil Young too. The very first record I bought was Let It Be.
Yeah.
Bought it in the Virgin Megastore in the early 90s. But I also have one of my favourite records is After the Gold Rush, Neil Young.
Oh, it's a fantastic album.
And my dad had a copy of it, like an original from when it came out, and it went missing. And I bought him an original replacement for it the first time I went to Glastonbury. I bought it in a record shop in Bristol.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It would be one of them two, and I don't know which one. Can that grab them both?
Yeah, I don't see why you can't.
What about the dog and the kids and all?
Well,
just leave them to it.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, "Don't worry about them." There's a clear hierarchy here, and the children, the wife, and the dog don't come into it.
Jesus.
Over a piece of fucking plastic.
That's the thing. And, like, the fact that vinyl comes from oil as well, man.
Aye.
It's fucking unsustainable. When is it going? When are people going to turn around and go,
we're bound to be able to make a different version of vinyl records that we don't need to fucking destroy the planet. But I mean, I think that's the least of the priorities at the minute. It's not the vinyl industry that's fueling the planetary collapse.
But I wish someone would speak up and say, right, all these artists with all these good intentions, and do you realise? And knock that on the head.
Well, it's a fair point, but it makes me think about what you did when you pulled all your music off the streaming services, because you made a very moral stance there, which I applaud you for. I followed you, but then I don't know if you know this. I went on to Tidal and Pandora, or not Pandora, fucking Napster. Although it's not on Napster just yet, because this is weird as fuck. Napster's the one that pays the most by a fucking mile.
Serious?
By a mile.
They're the ones who started off.
I know, they're the ones that fucking started ripping everybody off in the first place. But the reason I did it was because they're here to stay. And my own little fucking protest is put it on the one and not the others. If you want to listen to it in your streaming services, you have to go to
at least they're
streams.
not investing in arms companies like Spotify, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Although you never know what's going on behind the scenes. But
so tell me, I mean, I'm sure it's obvious why you did that, but why did you pull your music off those? You want to tell people?
Just because I don't want to work with bastards, like, you know.
Yeah.
And what other industry do you know where people would just suck it up and say, oh, sure, that's the way it is. You know, they're going to treat us like dogs. There's no respect for the actual thing that makes their company work. You know, they can't exist without artists and all, but they're just going to treat them
and you don't even have to squint to see that. I mean, it's fucking right there.
And people just... And music lovers are just like, I know, but it's so convenient and all, yeah. Let's see how convenient it is when there's a fucking tsunami coming towards you.
Yeah. And Spotify's fault.
But you know what I mean? It's all part of a bigger thing. But
No, I know.
I just couldn't be bothered. Andy, for me...
Was it annoying you, having your music on those platforms, knowing what you know?
Yeah, it was annoying me that I had let it happen and just been sucked into this big thing. Like, for me, I've never really made any money from music. It's always sort of just balanced itself out.
Yeah.
And it was like on this sort of thing, but someday.
Yeah. Aye.
And then you think how many millions of artists are doing that and funding these people? Whenever, and coming back to the thing about the beauty of it for me and where I get the fulfillment from it is that spark of an idea. And just realising it doesn't need to go beyond that.
So you've basically taken your art and your creativity, distilled it down to the creative process.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. And that's what I think. I think people like being around that sort of energy.
Yeah.
And if I could get my studio into
and would you be happy to do that in front of people, or how would you present that?
No, well, I mean, you'd be in your studio, but like it depends, man. But I've been over this last couple of years, just before the lockdown, it was starting to take off a wee bit, and then it's starting to come back now with people coming into the studio to write and help. Maybe I help them produce stuff or whatever, but
yeah,
I think just being around that, people like it. That's what I'm trying to do, is just create this wee...
I think you're right.
Wee place. You know, there's an energy that goes along with that people like to be around, and it's good for people, especially if you put it in nature.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Of which there's increasingly less and less.
Yeah.
There's our council around here has gone on some fucking tree hate. Everywhere you look, they're just cutting down fucking trees. And by the way, you wouldn't be allowed to do it because there's birds nesting in them right now.
It seems to be all these big companies have got the contracts for the councils.
Yeah. And
they're planting, like Belfast City Council has signed up to plant 1 million trees or something by 2025 or 2030 or something.
That's
but
right,
as part of it, they must have also...
We'll cut down 2 million.
There's maintenance involved. That's what they would call it. But it's going on everywhere.
Well, would that mean I'm delighted that they're agreeing and acknowledging, but it's probably too little, too late. But you know, it's the overcomplication of the thing. You can literally do what you said: take a field, plant the right trees in it, and fuck off.
Yeah,
leave it alone. You know, this management, that there has to be a contract attached to it. So how much does it cost to plant 1 million trees? Will it cost £1 million? How much does it cost to maintain 1 million trees for 50 years? Well, that's £50 million. Well, we're not going to do it then.
Yeah.
You know? It's fucking... They're cutting trees down around here. It's making me sick. Actually sick. Yeah, everywhere. And all they're doing, they're not even digging them up. They're fucking just topping them. Like 4 or 5 feet off the ground. So it's just these stumps.
What the hell?
And then they just pile them into a wood chipper and that's it. End of.
Sell it, Darlene Foster. Sick.
It's class. Here, we'll knock this on the head, will we?
Happy days.
We've been going for a while. Let me see. Well, that's about an hour. It's class. So, Bandcamp.
Yes, my stuff's still on Bandcamp.
Malojian, Bandcamp. Check it out. And what about getting me an interview with Jason while he's on tour?
Don't know about on tour now.
No, bit busy.
You know the crack.
Aye, afterwards.
I'm sure he'd be up for it.
Would he?
I'm sure he would. He sound like.
Aye, cool. Well, we can do it remotely. Obviously, I'm not going to wherever he lives. Where does he live?
LA.
Oh, does he? Is he LA born and bred?
He's from a place called Modesto.
I've heard of it.
Which is, I can't remember what you call it. It's what do you call the big Yosemite National Park?
Yeah.
I think it's on the eastern side of California before you get to Yosemite and stuff.
Wow.
But it's like some sort of valley that's really the land, and it's really fertile, and also loads of the fresh produce from America is grown there. So do you know what's made in?
Orange groves and all that?
All that crack.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what's made in his town?
Go on.
I want to get this right. I think it's Mad Dog 2020.
What?
It's one of them mental drinks.
The distillery or the brewery, whatever it is,
is there?
Yeah.
And there's
the witch's coven.
There's loads of alcoholics and stuff. It sounds a bit like Lurgan. He reckons it's really like Lurgan.
Oh.
Like sort of working class people and just nice people, but sort of on the edge of the countryside and stuff. So
yeah,
he's real into the outdoors. He spends most of his time up a mountain or something.
That's class. But he lives in LA now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
on the outskirts of LA, like.
Okay. So thanks to Stevie for calling to see me.
Thanks for
and giving me an hour of his time and a cream cracker with peanut butter and jam on it because I've no biscuits.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks everybody, and don't forget to come over to my Patreon and lend me your support and get talking to more class people like Stevie Boy. Okay. Bye.
Cheers on that.